So Metroid Prime 4 looks like modern audience slop. I've been feeling this from Nintendo for a little while, especially with the indie games that they've got going on over there and their free-to-play games. And I just noticed that they're trying to capture a wider audience, and we all know what happens when you try and capture the wider audience.
Let's be real. Were the people that are complaining about Mackenzie and Metroid Prime 4 ever gonna buy this game in the first place? Metroid.
That's not the point. And also, this is the same shit that we hear every single time with all of these corporate slot games. You get all of these people who are just crying, defending these games. For what? For what reason? Why? Just people's opinions online. Instead of crying about other people, how about you give an opinion of why you think that it's actually good without saying anything about bad? And don't say actually good, because nobody wants to hear that, because you're just still being a whiny brat about something that other people have a different opinion about.
It is a pretty niche series, and fans who waited 18 years will not care. We just want more Metroid.
That's not how it works. I'm sorry to say.
You're alone on a planet with no hope of survival. But you're also not sitting next to Phil anymore in that cubicle, so... Win?
Don't ask questions. Just consume product and then get excited for next product.
Yep, true. Nintendo.
What's up, Space Pirates? This is your Admiral, the chronically charismatic Dr. Disaster. And there has been quite a debate over the...
Is it 2026 yet? Man, it's still 2025, ain't it? Fuck, I don't even know what year it is.
Past few days concerning this new trailer for Metroid Prime 4 that was released the other day, most notably because the game has added a series of plucky sidekicks with the personality that you would expect.
Oh, you got the purple and teal. That's not a good sign.
From the likes of a bunch of MCU characters, complete...
Yeah, the color slot is there. Oh, it's not looking good.
With the corny humor that evaporates tension.
I'm Kamala Khan. But when I'm fighting crime on the streets of Jersey City, I go by Miss Marvel, and I hope that's okay, like copyright-wise, because honestly, I never thought I'd ever get to meet you.
Shut up! Yeah, that's the sort of humor that we're getting in this game. Personally, when I hear shit like that, it's just not funny at all. It has become a cringe...
Why they even gotta bring humor into it? They're not good at it. They're a bunch of old, lame dudes. Nobody cares.
Trope by now, in fact, and even the people who claim to like that stuff, I don't actually think that they do like it. I don't think that they actually find it funny. I think
they find it funny that people don't like it, so they pretend that they like it. They're always anti anything that actual real people, normal people like. Every time.
That if they laugh at that, it's forced, reminiscent of when a live studio audience sees the applause sign come on. I think they laugh because they know that they're supposed to. Anyhow, Metroid Prime 4 finally released a trailer that gave us some real information about the game, and frankly, it doesn't impress me because I don't play Metroid games with the hope of encountering...
It seems less good than Halo. It seems like it's trying to rip off Halo, and it seems less good.
Plucky sidekicks or anything like that. In fact, in most games in the franchise, Samus is a silent protagonist, or at least a mostly silent protagonist. I appreciate the level of seriousness that her character brings to the table. It adds to the gravity of the situations that she finds herself in. The idea of MCU humor being added to the IP has me going,
I am dead inside.
But naturally, there are plenty of Nintendo fanboys all over social media arguing with anyone saying this trailer was off-putting, trying to tell us that we aren't allowed to judge the game yet until we've played it. And keep in mind,
Nah, I do what I want. I don't give a shit. I say what I want. I think what I want. I don't give a shit what anybody says that they think I should do. If I want to say a game looks like trash, even if it looks like the greatest game ever, and I'm the only one with that opinion, I'm gonna say it. Go fuck yourself. I don't care. It's my opinion. But once you start getting upset, that's when you get people against you, man.
That was a really asinine approach to gaming discussion. A trailer is supposed to convince me to play a game. After all, the developer of the game is asking me to drop $70 or more for the privilege of playing it. It should be incumbent on them to convince me to spend that money. It is not incumbent on me to spend the money and play.
If they don't have any modern slop in there, I'll buy it on sale. Just like with every game.
The game in order to prove.
Good luck getting the masses who are exactly like me. Like people like me is who you really should be trying to get into your wider audience.
Spending the money on the game wasn't worth it.
That doesn't make sense.
Alright, me hearties, make sure that you hit the like button on this video, share it with your friends, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I've had a lot of people tell me that they have been unwillingly unsubscribed to the channel. Almost every day I hear from someone who says they didn't believe me when I talked about this phenomenon, but then they noticed that they themselves were unsubbed from the channel. I don't know why this happens, but I do hear it a lot, so check into that and hit the notification bell while you're at it. Anyhow, let's talk about Metroid Prime 4 and how actually the Nintendo fanboys are just the worst. Yesterday, when talking about Call of Duty Black Ops 7 and how shitty Microsoft is, I said something about how Xbox fanboys are the worst because they will choke down any slop that Microsoft puts out. But to be honest, Nintendo fanboys...
Also, I don't think there's really enough Microsoft fanboys to keep them from dying against the Steam machine, or at least taking a huge hit, because you got a lot of people who are not fanboys of Xbox who still have an Xbox just because they want a console and they just happen to get an Xbox instead of a PlayStation or a Nintendo. But if they start wanting something, that's not good. That's not good for Microsoft's market.
May be the actual worst by a wide margin. And keep in mind that for
not good for Nintendo's market.
Many years, I have loved Nintendo. I love the brand. I have a lot of fond memories with Nintendos. I have owned literally every Nintendo console ever made, including all of the handheld ones.
I did too, all the way. Like, I had the Switch. I even had a Switch Lite. After that, nope, out. I'm lifelong Nintendo fan, and people were trying to convince me, or convince other people, or convince themselves that I was not actually a real fan of Nintendo, or else I would have gotten the Switch too. But I had the Switch, and I had the Switch Lite. I had everything that came before it. I had the DS, I had the 2DS, I had the DSi, I had the Advance SP. I've had everything. Not Switch 2.
Including the ill-fated Virtual Boy. My favorite thing about Nintendo is how they generally don't get caught up on flashy things like graphics. Instead, they focus on gameplay, and they tend to crank out games that are actually fun instead of worrying about drawing every last freckle on some character's cheeks. Don't get me wrong, their games do tend to look graphically at least okay, but they haven't been on the cutting edge, graphically speaking, for decades now. Their emphasis is generally on fun and coming up with innovative gameplay loops and innovative technology to emphasize those loops. So
this kind of just seems like a bunch of other games that I played from like 2016, and they're gonna charge full price for this.
Don't get me wrong, there is plenty that I love about Nintendo, but I think back to the earlier parts of this year when the Switch 2 was first announced along with the new price tag, Everyone in gaming spent the entire spring this year complaining about the raised prices and telling Nintendo angrily to drop the prices on their games and accessories and whatnot. Their trailers were flooded.
I think AAA games need to be like $40. I think that's actually where we should have them, and they need to stop being these ginormous games. I think they need to limit themselves. Make smaller games with less beefy graphics. Stop worrying about the way the ants' life cycle runs and the way the pebbles look on the walkways. Stop looking at all the individual freckles and like flakes of skin cell.
With angry comments, but the Nintendo fanboys caved in like crazy. This summer, when the Switch 2 was released, it became the fastest selling console of all time. So not only did it still sell well, but literally, it sold better than any console ever. And do you know what that means? That means that for a lot of people out there, Nintendo has them by the balls. They can release whatever they want, and the fanboys are just going to...
And you know, that's fine with me, because I'm just going to make fun of them, and I'm going to not play that slop. I'll just keep playing old games, AA games, indie games. I'm out on all that shit. No, thank you.
Gobble it up. And that brings me to this Metroid trailer. There are a lot of people talking about how much they despise
It really looks like a whole bunch of purple and teal color slop.
the MCU level humor in this turd. But look at how this thing was received. In 3 days, they're at 863,000 views on this trailer, and look at the likes to dislikes.
And it looks pretty generic. It looks like a 2010 sci-fi shooter.
There are currently
2010, 2016.
38,000 likes to 2.4 thousand dislikes. What this tells me is that people are going to buy up this game like crazy. There are simply far too many cultural auto-intake zombies out there who love the Metroid Prime series so much that they just can't say no to it. And don't get me wrong, I get it to a certain extent. I understand what it is to be a mega fan of something, but these clips that are going around on social media...
Yeah, you can just keep eating dicks. You keep eating dicks, then all you're gonna ever get is dicks.
...are just awful, to the point that it doesn't feel like I'm looking at Metroid at all. Let's look at a few of them to ensure you have the full scope of what we're dealing with. In this first clip, you can see that the yellow paint that so many gamers complain about has actually mutated into a sentient person that takes you around by the hand.
So, where to? It might be a good idea to check the map and get our bearings.
I hope this isn't going to be a Navi situation. Did they not learn their lesson? Don't have a navigation, like, character floating around your head constantly, talking to you, trying to get your attention, tell you things.
And then here, this clip showcases that Samus is now accompanied by a Redditor of some kind throughout the game.
Oh! Whoa! You are sneaky quiet, you know that?
And then here is, in my mind, the most eye-rollingly terrible clip of all.
You're alone, on a planet, no hope of survival. But you're also not sitting next to Phil anymore in that cubicle, so...
What is happening here? This character looks straight out of Saints Row, and not any of the good ones, the new one.
Win?
I'm sorry, but I'm supposed to believe that this guy is essentially something like a space marine?
Why couldn't they just make it dark and gritty, like horror-esque shooter? We don't need that weird comedic bullshit in there.
My suspension of disbelief is utterly ruined at that point. I can't stand characters like that. I don't want a Redditor to accompany me on
same.
my Metroid Prime experience. But let's read what some of the usual suspects said about this game defending Nintendo. This guy here said,
Let's be real. Were the people that are complaining about Mackenzie and Metroid Prime 4 ever gonna buy this game in the first place? Metroid...
No, we weren't. And that's our point. That's the entire point. Because you can get people like us if you do what we want. I mean, it's not that difficult to figure out what we're talking about here.
It's a pretty niche series, and fans who waited 18 years will not care. We just want more Metroid.
You're not 18-year-long fans. Those don't exist. You don't just play Metroid for 18 years. No, you've moved on. And now you've got like nostalgia for Metroid, and that's it. Or some people like are new to Metroid, so they don't really even have the nostalgia for the old ones. They just have this weird obsession with stuff that's nostalgic, which I get because I also do. But that's all that is.
And that right there is what is wrong with the entertainment industry.
Yeah, that people like that are just completely full of shit. And I don't even think they know it.
In a nutshell, these people live to consume. They don't care if something is good or not. They don't have standards. They don't give a shit about that sort of thing. But this fella here at the top responded to that post saying, just because your standards are in the toilet doesn't mean everyone else's is. And then another hopeless Nintendo fanboy wrote,
if one character with a minuscule amount of screen time is enough to kill your interest in a game, then maybe you spend a bit less time on the internet and worry about actual shit going on in the world.
Well, same could go for you too, man. I love it when people say shit like that, because you're just like, you're the one wasting your time writing this fucking paragraph. What are you talking about?
First of all...
And then people will see it and be like, oh, he owned him. And it's just like, this is a fucking clown show. This is a clown show we're doing here on the internet.
How do we know that this...
That's why I can't get mad on the internet. Because everybody on the internet is a fucking moron.
Character has only a minuscule amount of screen time. And second of all, this guy is using a logical fallacy. It is an appeal to triviality. Why do you even care, Chud? It's just a video game. Meanwhile, you aren't meant to notice how much they care about defending it. Anyhow, Mr. Fairplay...
And I don't even care. That's a big problem, because a lot of people are like, why do you care so much? I don't care so much. I think it's just interesting to talk about. If I'm not going to play it, I'm not going to play it. It doesn't hurt me. You can have it. I'm just saying that you keep going down this path of kicking people out of your fandoms, not letting, like, gatekeeping and producing a bunch of trash. You're going to lose more and more and more people, and they're going to come over to our side, and we're going to end up making our own shit, and you won't be invited anymore.
Fired back, mocking the guy by saying, it is only a little bit of shit mixed in. There are more important things than your tongue-tasting shit. And then
go talk about those things.
Dude at the bottom wrote,
the game hasn't been released yet.
And I would like to point out that this attitude only seems to come out when a trailer looks like shit. When a trailer looks good, the fanboys pump their fists and use it as justification for why they're thrilled to drop money on this product, but if it looks bad...
And these corporations put money into places that house these people on the internet, that are home to these people. They know where these people lurk. They know what kind of people they are. They pay good money for it to happen. You ever play the game Game Dev Tycoon? You can literally pay for hype. You can just manufacture hype. And people will be excited for your game, whether your game comes out and it's trash or not. And then guess what? The next game comes out, you can do it again. Sometimes you got to pay a little bit more hype because you fucked up a little bit too bad the previous year. But you can still just pay more and more and more as long as you got the funds.
Then suddenly, we are supposed to not judge the game by the trailer because we haven't even had the chance to play it. Well, bullshit to that, I say.
I'm right too often. So I don't give a shit.
Trailer is a specifically curated set of sounds and images meant to entice someone to buy a product. If they can't make it look good, if they can't make it appealing, with the decks stacked in their favor like that, how in the hell am I supposed to trust that the game is any good? In my view, if a trailer looks bad, that is far more telling than when a trailer looks good. But I certainly expect Nintendo to make a killing on this game anyhow. They did with the Switch 2 after all. They did with...
It ain't gonna be enough. I mean, like, they can only stack so high before the tower falls.
Pokemon Legends ZA,
Because they're stacking this tower pretty fucking thin.
despite that game being heavily criticized for being slop. But I'm gonna leave it there.
Yep. Nintendo also is not releasing very many games. That's another big one. Like, they may release these super successful games, but they used to release like 30, 50 games a year that were like big successes. And name 5. Name 5 that came. There's not even a Zelda. There's usually a few Zelda games, by the way. There's a few Pokemon games already. There's a few Mario games. Where are they? Plus, the numerous just new titles that come out. With the Switch, you had stuff like, well, I guess technically the Wii U had like Splatoon and stuff like that. You don't see none of that. Like 1-2 Switch was a pretty big deal.